It again.
You gotta hit the button. He hit the button, and we're live now.
We're live.
We're live.
He pressed the
Gentlemen?
button. We got one ping only.
One ping only. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. We are live, aren't we, boys?
Yes,
Hello,
we are.
How are we?
Certainly are.
Some of us are back from vacation. Some of us are going on vacation. Some of us need a vacation. You guys pick and choose where you are, what category you're in.
Sure.
But we are live, aren't we?
I just got back, and I need another one.
There you go. Where are you? And Angelo, you're going on vacation.
I'm a going on a Friday. Road tripping down south.
Look at that. So we're sneaking in this live episode of what is this called now? One show, one drink tonight?
One show, one.
Because we have one show, and we actually have one drink, but three kinds of it. Right?
Yes.
Kind of thing. Right.
So let's call it one brand, three drinks.
Oh, that's good.
No,
we're
show,
rebranding our own. We're rebranding our sub brand. Yes.
On the fly.
On the Booze Dancing Entertainment Network.
We're like HBO Max and Discovery Plus. We're just shuffling it up.
We are because we don't have enough of confusion in the marketplace, right?
Nope.
My better half suggested another show, what we drink while on vacation.
Hey, there you
go. That's a good one. That's a good one too. That'll be on
another one.
That'll be on the one show, one drink plus network.
Plus.
Hey, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Shall we roll the intro?
Sure.
Roll the intro.
All right.
Let's get the roll on the road.
Roll the intro. Welcome to One Show, One Drink, part of the What We Watch When We Drink podcast from the Booze Dancing Entertainment Network, where we take one show or film and pair it with one boozy beverage. If you enjoy this show, please subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, Audible, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. You can also find us on boozdancing.com, and if you have any questions, comments, show or drink suggestions, email us at boozdancing@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
You know, I don't watch this podcast very often, ever, and I'm always amazed by how wonderful that beginning is. It almost looks. It's just I'm not really a subscriber, so I really
semi-professional. That's the key.
Semi-professional. Welcome to all those out in online land to What We Watch When We Drink, the podcast on the Booze Dancing Entertainment Network. This is the sub brand of us at our podcasting. It's One Show, One Drink, your unofficial podcast of record of freedom and the Ukrainian army, who are kicking a lot of Russian butt, and the men and women of Ukraine. Keep up the good fight. Do so. We're right behind you.
That's right.
We're going to turn to Ruskies. Speaking of Ruskies, we're
speaking of no good Ruskies.
We are going to turn this thing into a podcast. This live stream is going to turn into a podcast, so you can download it at a future date. Whenever you'd like. And tonight, what are we doing tonight, boys? We got a special, and that's why the beginning was in honor of the Ukrainians. What are we drinking, and what are we doing tonight?
All right, so the show is The Hunt for Red October. And the drink, which really there will be three, one bottler, three drinks, Lemonheart Son Rum Purveyors.
Wow, there you go.
Yes.
Can't beat that with a stick. So we got a classic movie. We all love it. We all quote it. We laud it. It's an amazing movie from 1999.
Never seen it.
1990. Yeah, and Mike has never seen it. This is his first time talking about it, actually. It's kind of ironic.
Who's this Connery guy? Never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
I like the sequel better.
Electric Boogaloo.
Hunt for Red October 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
You really wouldn't have thought Alec Baldwin could rap like that. He's really surprising.
Who knew?
So surprising.
And we have all these wonderful Lemon Hart Rums, courtesy of our friends at Impex, Sam Filmus and Chris Udi. Thank you guys for the samples. We're gonna taste through these rums, give you our thoughts, and talk a little bit about this classic movie. And we're doing something we've not done before too. At least two of us are going to be watching the movie off to the side of our screens as we are talking about it. So we can't have the sound up. We can't show you because of legal issues. We don't have. We're cheap. We didn't want to pay for the copyright. The rights to.
And we don't have a legal budget.
We don't have a legal budget. No,
we just don't.
Zero. We barely have a budget for what? The newspaper. Okay. So
what?
Where should we? The newspaper.
The newspaper.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
What the hell is that?
Online, I meant.
You know what it's good for? Drying your shoes when they get wet. Stuff them inside the shoes. Get all the moisture out. Very good.
And for fish, when you're rolling them up to give to your, sleeping with the fishes thing.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. So where are we going to start, boys? So let's start with this first rum.
Yeah, let's do that. So there's three, right? We've got the original, we've got the Blackpool, and we have the 151. So I really think we should start light and start with the original 1804.
Correct.
So you're saying start light. What is the ABV of this? Do you know?
It is 40% ABV.
40%.
Yeah. Smells a little hotter.
It is considered a classic British style rum.
Yes. And it is from Lemon Hart and Son, original 1804. I'll read a little bit from the Impex site. Lemon Hart and Son, original 1804, is the classic British style black rum, cherished by rum drinkers around the world for its bold, rich flavor, full-bodied complexity, and exceptionally smooth finish. Original 1804 is the perfect example of a rum that shows pronounced flavor when mixed with cola, a premium blend of single estate rums, distilled, bourbon barrel aged, and blended on the east bank of the Demerara River in the lush tropical Caribbean country of Guyana. So,
wow.
Now, when we talk to, our rum friends, Dawn and Mitch, there's just one distillery on Guyana?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. It's the Demerara Sugar guys.
Right.
I think they basically had a monopoly on the sugar, so there's only one distillery. I don't know if it's affiliated with them or not, but there's only one distillery. Okay. So,
all right, let me do a little pour here, and then we'll do a little cheers.
A little clinky clink,
gentlemen. Cheers.
Cheers. All right, here we go. We are drinking live on Booze Dancing TV.
Shocker.
Rum from Lemon Hart.
It smells a little funky.
I'm getting a little citrus on the nose.
Not super funky, a little banana. And a boot.
Ooh, it smells good though. I like it. It's got like rich, dark, deep sugars. Yeah. Maybe I'm not getting so much. Maybe it's like more orange. Maybe like a little citrusy kind of note to it.
Like the candied oranges.
Yeah, maybe.
Those orange slices.
Little candied oranges and maybe a little pineapple. Like a little like overripe pineapple. Smells good.
The dark fruit thing going on. Maybe some raisins or something.
Yeah. And it's really dark in color.
And
very dark.
And leggy. It's really
very
syrupy.
Leggy. Yeah.
Yes.
So what?
It's like Charlize.
We know. Very much like Charlize. Do we know what the rules are? There are no rules kind of in the rum world, right? So if they want to add coloring, they can add coloring, right?
Yeah,
is that the deal?
I think so. That's my understanding.
I think there just need to be disclosure.
And they can add sugar, and they can do whatever the hell they want, right?
All right, I'm going for a taste. That is much hotter than the 40% would lead you to believe.
Yep. I agree with you.
Yeah, I kind of thought that on the nose.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised it was only 40.
Now, this
one... that is a real nice finish.
It is nice.
Here.
Right down here. This is pretty affordable. Because generally, we've been getting a lot of really, really expensive, like rums and whiskeys.
Yeah.
This is pretty affordable. According to the interwebs,
$45.
No. Total Wine has this for $24.
Well,
wow.
So this is this is great as a sipper.
Yeah.
And probably great for cocktails, right?
Yeah.
I thought the simple rum and cola sounds like pretty good.
Yeah.
Cuba Libre.
Well, I saw a video the other day. It's only a Cuba Libre if you add the lime. If you don't add the lime, it's just a rum and coke.
That's probably true. That's very.
So,
That makes sense.
yeah.
Which makes it like a cocktail, so Mike won't make it. But that's 3 ingredients.
Yeah, 2 ingredients is good. Sometimes I consider ice an ingredient.
I hear ya.
That's nice. It doesn't. Is it oily? I don't know. Hang on. Like, how's the texture on this?
It's funny because it's so leggy. You think it's going to be oily, but it's
not really.
But it's not. It's not thin either.
Yeah, it's not like a velvet robe.
The finish is kind of. You know what? The more you have it, like the more flavors come out once you like chew it for a little while and get the saliva going.
So there's a saltiness to it to me.
Yeah,
a little brininess.
That is really nice, and for the price, that is really, really good.
So I find these inexpensive rums sometimes so drinkable and easy to, like, you could sit with one all night, a bottle all night, easily, right? You're not going to be overwhelmed by ABV. You're not going to be overwhelmed by funk, and boy, it's just easy drinking.
Yeah, and I don't find it
you
overly
get on
sweet.
ice. No.
This is not like overly sweet at all.
No.
It's not syrupy.
And like Aaron said, on the second pass, you pick up some salinity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that saltiness. So
and it's a little dry too.
It's complex.
This one has a dryness to it.
I think that's from the saltiness.
So I approve. I like it.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Oh, $24.
Yeah, that's a bargain.
As I was saying to you guys, this earlier pre-liveness, the name Lemonheart is known well with my wife and I. We traveled to the Caribbean back in the 90s, and it was a standard on bar shelves there. And we thought it was something very, very exotic. It should only get in the Caribbean. And then, of course, we found it like in Trader Joe's when we got here, came back. But it's great that Sam and Chris are bringing this stuff in now.
Yeah.
So we like it, right?
We do.
And
the price point's great.
Do you think they have to go through the same rigmarole with all the rum, that they're not actually getting it right from the distiller, that they're actually getting it from the brokers?
I don't know how big this company is.
Yeah.
So maybe they don't have to do that. Maybe they could buy direct.
No, I think this. I would think this is direct.
Is it direct?
I would think so.
Which maybe that keeps the price point down too, because you cut out.
Yeah.
You know, the massive clearinghouse in what is it, in Amsterdam or wherever they are.
Right.
Well, it sounds like all their stuff is from Demerara. It's all the Demerara rums from Guyana.
Right.
So maybe they just do direct. Maybe they don't have to do any of that. I don't know.
So
whatever.
Do we know that they're distilling there, or
No, I don't think so.
I'm a little confused by what the deal is with the rum guys so much that down in the Caribbean. Some of it's sourced, some of it's made. It's kind of confusing. Always.
So it says here, Lemon Son Rums still to this day are proudly distilled, bourbon barrel aged, and blended at a single estate in the Demerara region of Guyana to ensure the highest quality, fullest flavored rums. The stills, the location, the craft, skill, and passion of the people who work at the distillery contribute distinctly to the single source character and flavor of our rums. When you buy single estate, quality is. So yeah, I guess they're doing it all.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
So good stuff. Good price. I like it.
Got it.
I like it.
All right.
We're jumping in the movie.
And you know what? Well, what's a little odd is the rum is made from molasses.
That's right.
You'd think with Demerara and the sugar, it'd be made from sugarcane. Instead, it's made from molasses.
Yeah. It's actually getting better.
That was good.
It's really nice. Okay, here we are. That was our one brand. First shot at our one brand, and now we're going into our one show. And we are going to this 1990 classic, as we said, The Hunt for Red October. I don't even know where to start. We as a trio, we love this movie. Correct?
I adore this movie. Absolutely. I have seen this at least, 20, 30 times. And every time it's on, no matter where it is, I jump in and I get sucked in.
It is one of those movies.
All right.
Well,
it's good.
If you like that sort of thing.
It is one of those movies that if you're channel surfing, and you see it, I think it's true of all three of us. You go to it and you get sucked into it, no matter if you're in the last 3 minutes of the movie or the middle or the beginning. You are invested immediately by seeing the name on the little grid. You get invested again.
Absolutely.
Weird.
And then I'll tweet at you and just harass you that it's on. I think I'll just say it's on. One pig only.
It's on. Yes.
Only.
Absolutely love it.
I'll watch it whether it's on network TV or some cable channel or channel, I don't know, some Fox affiliate or Netflix. It doesn't matter if it's commercials or cut up in 50 pieces. I'll watch it. It doesn't matter. I think because one, it's so good, and two, we could fill the dialogue in your head of whatever's missing. It's just great. I don't even know how to explain it. It's so good.
I annoy the crap out of the kids because I just start throwing lines out there. Start finishing the dialogue. It's just so good. It's just so good.
So we want to give a little recap of what it's about. Ange, Mike, you want to take that?
Well, you know what? You want me to just read this? I want to read what it says on the site.
Sure.
All right. In IMDb. In November 1984, the Soviet Union's best submarine captain in a new undetectable sub violates orders and heads for the U.S. The American CIA and military must quickly determine, is he trying to defect or to start a war?
There you go.
What is that?
That's the movie. Shh. I'm turning the volume down. So this falls into that era of,
it's like
80s,
pre-end
90s.
of Cold War, right?
Correct. And it's the 80s, 90s movies. There's a lot of them. They came from spy novels, or they just came up from some writer's dream. And we were all kind of hooked in that. We were all a little bit nervous about living in the Cold War era a bit. And it played on all that. And of course, the Americans are the good guys in the end, like a lot of these movies were. Mm-hmm. And right. And I don't know. It just, at the time, it touched us. And you said you saw it with your dad in a theater.
Yep.
I don't remember where I saw it first.
This came out in March of 1990. I had actually read the book, I think, the summer before.
Tom
Clancy.
Tom Clancy.
Yeah, and the book is fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
The book is really, really good. It's a good read. It's really well paced.
This is not the first with this character, right? Of the book series.
I think it is the first one. Yeah. This is the first of the
Okay.
series. And they had Alec Baldwin play the title role, Jack Ryan, who was, I guess, the Tom Clancy hero.
Yep.
In the books, and what was he like? He was a CIA analyst.
Yeah.
And he kind of gets sucked into all this. He's like the reluctant hero.
Correct. Yep. He has a background in studying Russian naval stuff, and so he is brought in because he learns of something in the movie, in the story, that the Russians might have a super duper sub that is undetectable,
right?
A stealth sub, as it were. And it may be somewhere out in the water, and he knows that maybe the captain of the ship, played by Sean Connery, wants to defect. Marco Ramius may want to defect, and maybe there's not a crisis. Maybe it's a guy that just wants to defect with this piece of hardware, right? And so he has to convince his superiors that this is not war. This is going to be a defection sort of story, right?
Yep.
And go ahead, Ange.
I don't know. What was I going to say?
I don't know. We're going to say something.
I don't know. But so he's got to convince first the CIA, and that was, who's the guy? Greer, and it's James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones
playing Greer. And then, of course, they get the satellite photos, and they tell him to do a little bit of digging, and he goes to visit the guy that works at the submarine where they're building the subs to see what the hell's going on, and then they got to convince who was the Secretary of State? Is that what that guy was, or
The National
the
Security
NSA?
Lawyer. Yeah,
yeah, the NSA, right? Good stuff. Good stuff. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's an incredible cast.
We're going to get to the cast. It's
we'll get to
scary.
that.
We'll get to the cast. I think some of the actual movie making is pretty spectacular. And there are, if you look back at now in today's technology, okay, that could have been done better, or that could have been done better. The CGI wasn't very good there, but I thought the submarine stuff is very good. You kind of feel like you're in there, I think. And I remember seeing it on a big screen too.
Yep.
And you're there. You're right in there. You're amongst those nuclear warheads. You're right in there, I think, and it feels like it.
And I was telling Ange last night we were talking about it, and I said that much like The Martian was crowdsourced for the science to make sure it all works.
Yeah.
That Clancy doesn't know all this stuff, so he would talk to the people who would give him as much information as they were legally allowed to under classified stuff. Yeah. And then he'd go to the hobby shops and find the models and talk to the model builders.
Yeah.
And say to the model builders, like, if you were making a submarine that did this, where would that be? How would it work? What would be, because these guys spend so much time making these true to life exact replicas that when you throw stuff at them, they're like, well, it would have to be here. This is how it would have to work. This is what it would look like or sound like. Because the sub that Marco Ramius, Connery's character, is stealing is their new state-of-the-art with this special caterpillar drive that's whisper quiet. They'll never hear it coming.
It's called the magneto hydropropulsion or something?
something insane with their caterpillar drive. So they figure out, how does this work? And both the Russian sub and the U.S. subs that are pursuing it, after he wrote the book, he was visited by members of the government to ask where he got the information from.
Huh.
Because they thought that perhaps he had bribed someone or had stolen some classified information. Together.
Espionage.
There's probably, hey, you're not supposed to know this. How does that work?
Does anyone know does anyone know the backstory on this, getting this thing made? Was because this was probably Clancy's first book turned into a movie, I assume?
As far as I know, this is the first one. It's also his first book.
True.
So this was his first book. So yeah, I'm not sure. I don't really know all the backstory. I guess I'm sure I can get it.
And the book's from 1984. So it only took 6 years to somehow put out the book, get it on the bestseller list, get it optioned, and get the movie made. So I can't imagine there was much of an issue to make the book into a movie. It seems like it worked pretty quick.
It was optioned in 85.
Okay.
And so 5 years later, it gets made into a movie or released.
Right.
Pretty interesting.
The guy who directed it was John McTiernan. I think he also did Die Hard.
Yeah.
And a few others. I'm not sure what else he did, but I know he's like an action guy. It's kind of interesting because he was the director. The cinematographer was Jan de Bont. Jan de Bont wound up directing Speed. So all these guys have kind of, cut their teeth on doing action films. And who else is on here? So the writers, Tom Clancy, screenplay by Larry Ferguson, and Donald E. Stewart, whoever they are. But I had read that. Have either of you read the book?
Yeah, I read the book too.
Yes.
Yeah, the book is fun. I actually reread it a couple years ago, just to see if it was, how it holds up. And it's just a fun read. It's just really, really well done.
The only thing with the book is he has to be very descriptive.
Right.
And some people might find, 3 pages of descriptions to set the scene too much. Where with the movie, someone already did that. The scene's already set.
Yeah, it's right there. Yeah.
So I know some people think that Clancy's books are a little bit of a slog because he's very, very descriptive. I really enjoy the books, but some people say that they're, you didn't need to be that long.
Yeah, but you know what though? I think there's substance behind it, as opposed to one of my least favorite writers, which is Stephen King, who just doesn't know when to cut it short.
Well, he gets paid by the page, So
he gets paid by
like
the word.
if his book isn't 1,000 pages, he's not making enough money. So
Yeah, I mean, I probably read about 5 or 6 Clancy books, and for me, it was all relevant.
Yeah.
It wasn't just for the sake of.
no.
It all kind of ties in. So, like with this book, the detail on everything between from the aircraft carriers to the destroyers to the submarines, it's
even
all
the descriptions of the people. Because most of them are grizzled veterans that he's friendly with, and he's got to go through big long descriptions of these people and what they look like and how they act, and you're part of the action by the time you're done reading the book. It's really good.
And the Jack Ryan character, I think, at that time, he's an everyman to some extent. He's nerdy. He's not he's not Rambo. We're leaving that category of kind of hero in movies, and you've got this smart guy, and he's going to save the world, but he's going to save the world with his smarts, not with a headband and a machine gun. Yeah. And that character throughout the series, Patriot Games and what's the other one?
Clear and Present Danger.
That one. He's hard not to like, right? He's just a very
and he's the reluctant hero. He's the desk jockey who analyzes everything that somehow gets thrown into the field.
Yeah,
whether he wants to or not.
Yeah, and I think it's a great writing technique of taking this everyman and throwing him into the woods to save mankind. It's really well done. I was just looking at something about the filming. They did it at Paramount here in LA, and so they built these sets for the interiors of the ships. And Sean Connery had said it was very claustrophobic. There were 62 people in a very confined space, 45 feet above the stage floor. It got very hot on the sets, and I'm also prone to seasickness. The set would tilt 45 degrees, and it was very disturbing. They shot it in 4 weeks. He shot his scenes in 4 weeks, and the rest of the production took additional months in Los Angeles. Oh, also in Port Angeles, Washington, also, and which is for some of probably the water-based stuff.
Right.
So, interesting that being on a submarine. If you've ever been on one, it is very, very claustrophobic. I remember being on a couple tours when I was a kid, and even being little on a ship that way, it felt there's no window. How do I get out of here quickly?
Mike, is the Olympia still over at Penn's Landing?
Yeah.
I was only on that one, and that's that was a World War I sub or a World War II sub?
That might have been a World War II sub.
But that thing is tiny.
It's a tin can. I mean, it's what it is.
When you talk about claustrophobic, my God.
And you sense that in the movie. You sense that there's a very small space, and when tensions get high throughout the movie, oh my God, you feel it. You feel it's like you're in that office at work when 4 people are in there and things are going bad, and all of us, and you can't get out because somebody's in front of the door. It's just like that in so much of the movie. You just feel like everyone's on top of each other, and how the work gets done, and how people keep their emotions. Well, I guess not in this movie exactly all the time. How the emotions are kept in check. It's pretty amazing, and we see all that play out so often in the movie. It's amazing in that sense.
And it's not the Olympia. The Olympia is Dewey's Spanish-American War flagship. The submarine is the Bacuna.
Oh, okay. Okay. I know it was one of those. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, but it's amazing. They have these two, long-serving ships, and you look at them and boy, both these boats are really small.
Yes, they are very, very small. I like when you walk through like the sleeping quarters, and it's like 3 bunks on top of each other, and there's about a foot between one bunk and the other. So basically, you just lie flat and fall asleep.
And that's where they had like if you're over 5'8", you can't serve in a sub kind of things, and all these other rules because you're not going to fit.
No. Yeah,
So we can go back to the plot a little bit. Jack Ryan has this information. He takes the CIA to to Darth Vader and James Earl Jones. Admiral Greer, sorry, and gives him the info. And okay, let's take it to the next level of person on the chart. And at the same time, something's going on out in the ocean.
Yep.
Right. The Dallas, is that the name of the
Yes.
the
USS Dallas.
USS
Under
Dallas?
Captain Bart Mancuso.
Bart Mancuso, played by Scott Glenn, is out there, and they're just doing their normal kind of patrolling and training, and there's something out there that they're not really sure what it is, right? Mm-hmm. An anomaly of some sort.
Well, and the sonar operator picks it up, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Jonesy, right?
Jonesy.
Except this
Courtney B. Vance.
Courtney B. He's fantastic.
And this is all kind of happening at the same time. There's some weirdness going out in the ocean that the USS Dallas picks up. And Jack Ryan's back in D.C. or at Langley talking about this these pictures that he has of that he or is shown of this weird submarine thing. Nobody really knows what it is, right?
What are these doors?
Yeah. What do these do? And he starts to make a connection that there's something going on between what's going on in the ocean that the U.S. sub is seeing or thinking or hearing, and these pictures. What is the connection, right? And ultimately, Admiral Greer sends Jack Ryan to talk to the head of the NSA, who basically says, that's a great theory. Go figure it out. And he makes him go out on a chopper to get out to that ship. Am I right?
You're where you need to be.
And of course, things are kind of getting hairy out on this ship out in the middle of the Atlantic. And all of a sudden, this guy in a suit with little or no military experience is thrust upon a ship to come up with show the boys out there this crazy theory that there's something weird going on with a Russian ship and Sean Connery trying to defect. And nobody's buying this crap, and they got more important things to do out there. And that's really the beginning of the crazy story of all the tension that leads for the next hour of the movie. It's just so riveting. All the lead up is riveting, and of course, then when we get to the real bulk of the drama, it is just the dialogue is just amazing. The scenes are amazing. Even the on screen data points, the is really good. Even for 1990, watching it now, it's pretty good.
What's cool about the movie too is that there's just so many pieces going on. Like Marco sent the letter to who was it? Was it like his father-in-law or somebody in the Kremlin telling him what he's going to do?
Yeah.
Basically telling him what's going on. Yeah. So the Russians are mobilizing the troops, and I guess they're picking up on all this radar activity of all these ships moving in. And you've got what did they say? The Russians were dropping sonar buoys.
Yeah.
So trying to find this ship. So you've got basically the whole Russian fleet. You've got all the subs, all this stuff trying to find this guy.
Right. The Russians know that he's trying to defect, in essence. So they're sending out their fleet to get him. The Americans don't know yet, except Jack Ryan kind of believes that that's what's going on. And then without trying to create World War III, how do the U.S., how does the U.S. sort of capture, maybe not the right word, help Ramius do what he's trying to do, which is basically defect with this brand new first-class, high-tech Russian ship and all of its Russian,
and all this stuff has to be done kind of like keep it all on the DL.
Yeah,
and it's what, a combination of chess and poker at the same time.
Totally,
because nobody knows what's going on because they can't communicate directly. It's not like Ramius can pick up a phone and say, "Hey, what's going on?" So
yes,
and of course, the whole ship isn't in on the defection. It's just him and his main guys.
Yeah,
right. And we don't know that until later. And there's the connection between Ramius and Jack Ryan. That Jack Ryan's been studying him for a long time.
Right.
Ramius they actually met at one point, and Jack Ryan knows him so well. He knows about the death of his wife and death of his wife, correct?
Right.
Yes.
He really knows him. He's an analyst, so he has to learn this kind of stuff about someone he's following, and so there's a connection between the two. And how are they going to almost work together to make this all happen? And again, without the Russian higher ups in Moscow, who are trying to stop the whole defection and losing a submarine. It's just such a well done piece of cinema, and I don't remember how well it was taken critically. What's it on Rotten Tomatoes? I'm kind of curious.
I don't know. Let me see. I'm on IMDb, so let me see what's going on here. I remember
88% Rotten Tomatoes.
There you go.
Yeah, so
I remember it not being panned horribly. I mean, it wasn't, it's not of those Rambo type era movies.
No.
It was higher quality than that, right? Better writing.
Well, it's a top-notch book. It's not, some far-flung thing to.
But a lot of books turn into shit, though.
Yeah, what I found really, really interesting was the very beginning of the movie. The Russians speak Russian,
right?
And then
that was a cool transition.
And then they just switch over,
uh-huh.
And they don't try to speak with like American accents or anything. They just speak the way they all normally speak. So all these people are from all over the world. Connery still has a Scottish accent. One guy sounds Australian. They just do all the stuff they normally do without having fake accents because they just were like, well, what's the point?
So I gotta say, when I remember this point so well, seeing it, I hated that. Really? I hated really? I hated it. I'm fine with it now. I hated the fact that all of a sudden these guys started talking English, and why can't they just keep talking Russian? It would be more normal,
authentic. Yeah.
And why did they why weren't they speaking English from the beginning? We know they're Russian. It really bothered me, and I really hated that. And now I've seen it so many times, I think I'm just past it all.
Yeah.
But it would have been nice to see Sean Connery speak Russian from the entire movie.
Well, they could have just gotten a whole Russian cast. I mean, why not?
I read an interview with Connery where he said we could have done that, and the movie would have had subtitles, and people would have hated it.
That's the other part of it, right? Yeah.
Because and then someone will complain about our Russian accents or our inflection or the translation. Mm-hmm. Like, so what? You can't win by doing it. You can't win by not doing it.
So if this movie's made today, how would they do that? You think it would all be in Russian, or do you think it would?
Yeah, I think so much has subtitles now. We were talking about this last night. That I think you're right, Andrew. I think they probably would do it all in Russian with an all Russian cast.
I mean, you look at just all the streaming services. They all have international shows. Not saying they're like blockbusters, but occasionally one hits, like Squid Game, for instance. So maybe there's a little bit more of an appetite for it. I mean, you see how much you watch foreign shows. You don't watch them dubbed; you watch them subtitled, right? I do.
Yeah. I think it would have worked. Maybe not then, but definitely today if you did it all in two languages. And you could have, if it was today, this story, maybe you got 3 or 4 languages because you got other Russians that are speaking different languages. Depending on where they're from in Russia.
Yeah.
It would have been really interesting, I think, having it. But that was really annoying to me back then. It's hard not to love this movie in so many ways. The humor of it. There's lots of humor in it, right?
Oh yeah.
And there's lots of digs. There's lots of comedy in it.
When Jack Ryan meets Ramius on the ship, and he says we were at a conference once.
Oh, I love this.
And he's bragging about how Jack Ryan writes a book on Admiral Halsey.
Yeah.
because he's the foremost admiral that the U.S. ever produced.
I know this book.
And
I know this.
I know this book. Your conclusions were wrong.
He acted stupidly.
Yeah, stupidly, and you're just like,
and he's doing this as the clock is ticking, right?
Yeah.
And they're in the drama at that very second, right?
Yeah.
And
you know what though?
Just
I was watching it this week. Going back to Ramius. In the beginning when he has the real orders, and after he kills the number 2 guy with the keys to the nuclear missiles.
Yep.
Remember when he burns the orders?
Yep.
Like, you don't put them in a trash can. You can't just like tear them up, whatever. And you just called in to have the doc come in. Isn't it going to smell something burning?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think? But then again, he's the captain of the ship, and they are Russian, so they may not question him.
Today it would have been gone through a shredder.
Maybe it would. Maybe so. Maybe that's part of it too, though, because the culture may be, Captain Ramius. He's large and in charge. There's no second guessing the commanding officer.
Right.
So maybe there's that.
Go right ahead.
But it was just weird because he burns the thing and he just puts it down on the desk.
Yeah.
Doesn't put it in a metal trash can. Just puts it right on top of the desk. I'm like, okay, sure.
Maybe that's what they do with their orders. They always set fire to them.
Sure, why not? You read them and you set fire them. This one is what's that called? Plausible deniability.
Exactly.
That's right.
Right.
And that's why the Russians are losing in Ukraine.
There you are.
There you are.
Speaking of Ukraine, wasn't Ramius Ukrainian?
Lithuanian.
I think it was Lithuanian.
Lithuanian. Right.
Yeah. Which again is one of the reasons that Jack Ryan's so convinced that he's not going to be a renegade stealing a sub to attack the U.S. or anything, because he doesn't have that same level of political belief because he's not actually Russian.
He's not Russian.
Right, I got you.
Yep.
So on that note, shall we try the second one?
Let's try
I
the
think
second
we should
one.
go to our next rum, the Lemonheart. Blackpool Spiced Rum. Correct?
Yep.
Again, I want to thank our friends at Impex, Sam Filmus and Chris Udy, for sending us the samples. Remind everyone, this is Booze Dancing TV Live. This is One Show, One Drink. We're going through some Lemon Hart Rums from Guyana while we're watching The Hunt for October.
And discussing.
Is this the same as the original in terms of ABV and the production, just now it's spiced?
Good question. I don't know.
I don't know if you have any more information on them or not.
I don't see. Well, let me go on here. Let me hang on a second. Let me switch over.
ABV is 43%.
So it's a little higher.
Okay, a little higher. Okay, so this is the Blackpool Spiced Rum, a new generation of premium rum, awarded the Chairman's Trophy at the Ultimate Spirits Challenge. Blackpool is a beautifully crafted, overproof, British-style single estate distilled spiced rum. Mastery of art expertly balances Blackpool's naturally occurring bourbon barrel notes of exotic dried fruit, island spice, and vanilla bean with an all-natural spiced infusion, resulting in the definitive rum experience. Over ice, simply sublime. Mixed, adventurously awakening. Tribute to the provenance of the iconic Lemon Hart Son brand, and honor to the passion of rum craft passed down through the generations at Lemon Hart Sons since 1804. They've been at it for a while.
It is spicy.
Well, I haven't tasted it yet, but the nose is so vanilla.
Yeah, it's a lot of vanilla. There's a lot of vanilla on this nose.
Then I'm getting like a lot of back notes. I couldn't identify them. I'm not like Ange with his baking spice encyclopedia.
Oh, just stop it. Just stop it.
You get all that vanilla, and then you get like almost like a potpourri behind it.
There's a little potpourri-ish.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I get it. It's vanilla. I can't figure out what the back is, but it's nice though. It smells great.
It's really nice. It's really nice and leggy like the last one.
I'm getting magna displacement.
You know what? Actually, it almost has like a cola kind of scent to it on the background.
Vanilla Coca-Cola.
Like a cola extract, maybe.
Yeah.
If you could distill that down, it's almost got that, like a little sweetness.
Like maybe
some ginger.
A little of grandma's soap.
Grandma's soap, huh?
Grandma's soap?
Old lady soap. You get like a lavender soap.
No.
I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yardley's? Like a Yardley's?
Yeah.
I like the smell of Yardley's.
Maybe
I don't particularly like lavender in my drink. I know that was a thing for a while, wasn't it?
A little bit of that.
Wow. It is spicy. Now, and I can say I'm not a spiced rum fan. You know, that Captain Morgan's stuff I never liked.
Ooh,
This is good.
it's got a kick.
And I think because it's not well, what's the kick from? Is it's not the ABV?
No, but it was like
spice,
a
right?
cinnamony kick on the back.
Yeah, you
It's
get like a big
maybe
spice
like-
blast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost a little peppery.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what just happened, guys?
Mm.
Sean Connery, Raimi's just killed one of his guys.
Oh, I'm a little past that. You mean
fell.
the guy?
He
The
fell.
guy, he killed him.
Oh, so this is when it starts burning the orders.
Yeah.
This is the scene.
He's dead.
He fell.
By the way, you
Where
know what I
I'm
also
going.
like?
You cannot follow.
Speaking of orders, when the guy's walking through the Kremlin and he gets the letter from, Marco, he sits down, he gets his tea. He's got his pretty little teacup with the silver on the bottom and the glass on top. And he's stirring it and he's reading it and he just knocks it over. Like,
Yeah,
holy
he's freaking
crap. Like, what the hell are you doing, pal? What are you doing?
It was a letter from his wife.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're right. Here he is he's smoking. He's just burning up those orders and
Just leaving it on the
right in
desk.
the middle of, and there's fire on a ship is bad.
Right. Yeah, you would think. But this is
puts it
really
on the
nice.
table to burn up. I'm sorry.
This rum is really nice. I like this. This is really good.
I do too. I'm a big vanilla freak, so this
Yeah.
is like right in my wheelhouse.
Was that what they called you on the basketball court? Was that you? Power forward, vanilla freak.
I'm a vanilla freak. Yo,
You're not the. Yeah, you can't be like what is it? Vanilla fudge. What was
Thunder?
Jason Segel? What was Jason
Vanilla
Segel
Fudge.
in Vanilla Fudge? There you go. You're not
as
Jason
opposed
Segel.
to
Height.
white chocolate.
He was
That's
Judge
right.
Fudge. Judge Fudge.
Judge Fudge. This is very nice. There is a lot of vanilla.
So let's take a break in the show, in the movie, and just talk about the cast for a minute.
It is an unbelievable cast.
It's a shame none of these people ever worked before or after this movie.
So I'm just looking at the list on in Google, and there's probably let's see, maybe there's probably 8, 16, 40 pictures here. Only one woman, by the way, and I would venture to say I know a third of them, which is a lot, I think, for a movie with that many people.
Oh yeah.
And there are probably people in here I don't know by the picture, but I'm sure I've seen them elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
Quite a few. I don't know, where do you even start with this list? I mean, it's the top line in Google: Sean Connery, Alec Baldwin, Sam Neill, Larry Ferguson, the chief of the boat, James Earl Jones, Scott Glenn, Tim Curry, and Richard Jordan. That's the top line that shows up in Google. And we're not even in the second line yet.
Yeah.
That's just what? That's 7 out of 8 people that are really well known. I'm not sure about Larry Ferguson. No offense, Mr. Ferguson. But those other names are just Hall of Fame actors, right?
Well, and then you get into the next tier for then. You got Courtney B. Vance and
Stellan Skarsgård.
Let me just stop for a second. Larry Ferguson is the screenwriter,
Oh, is that right?
and he also wrote
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we
Highlander,
yeah.
Beverly Hills Cop 2, The Presidio, Alien 3. He's done a lot of stuff.
He's the okay. The second row. We can come back and talk about individuals here. The second row on Google, at least the way mine's formatting. Excuse me. Stellan Skarsgård, Courtney B. Vance, Peter Firth, Fred Dalton Thompson, Jeffrey Jones, Joss Ackland. That's your guy, Andre Lisenko, Michael Weldon, and Timothy Carhart. Okay, let's say you know probably 6 or 7 of those guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's pretty amazing on line 2. Now, line 3, we're starting to get into the second, third, fourth tier. Gates McFadden, the only woman in the cast, star of Star Trek, Next Generation.
Next Generation.
Who does she play?
Right?
She's the doctor.
On Next Generation, but she's Jack Ryan's wife.
Oh, okay.
Daniel Davis, Mark Draxton, Sven Ole Thorson, Andrew Divick, Divoff, Anthony Peck, Thomas Arena, and Rick Ducommun. Rick Ducommun, longtime stand-up comedian. Now, after that, we're getting into some names I'm not familiar with, but there are faces that I definitely know.
You know Daniel Davis, right?
Do I know Daniel Davis?
You know Daniel Davis.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yep.
Who's Daniel Davis?
He's the captain who doesn't like. Yeah.
I got you. Yeah,
He's been in a million things. I think he's in Star Trek too.
He's in Star Trek, but he's better known for being in The Nanny.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was in The Nanny. Yeah, that's right. Isn't he her father?
No, he's the I guess the butler, Niles.
Oh, the butler. That's it. The butler. Yeah, that's right.
And he does a great little segment on Star Trek: The Next Generation where he plays Professor Moriarty.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Any cast thoughts? I mean, that top row is just disgusting. Connery, Baldwin, Neal, Jones, Glenn, and Tim Curry.
Well,
that's just nuts.
I watched it the last 2 days. I watched it the last 2 days, and the scenes that I really have been enjoying is the stuff, everything on the Dallas. Just from like when you first meet Jonesy and he's telling the story about the, Pavarotti and Paganini and all that stuff. And those guys are great. The whole look of Scott Glenn in the movie, him and his second in command, those big glasses, those big, like, they almost look like they would be military eyeglasses. Like military spec eyeglasses.
It's also the 1980s, right? That was very
normal. The aviators,
It just felt so real. It felt much more real on the Dallas. Like that was like almost like they recruited like an entire ship. Right. It felt very authentic. Whether it was or not, I don't know. But it just felt really good.
A fair amount of these gentlemen have military backgrounds,
right?
Prior to being actors, so they know they can probably walk the walk a little bit, having worked in the military. Sean Connery and Sam Neill as those Russian characters are just amazing. I think they feel, at least in the, I guess you could argue maybe they're somewhat cliches for what we think of as Russian military folk, what we know of them, what we thought we knew of them, but they do that really well. Yeah. You could argue that Scott Glenn is a caricature of the kind of the cowboy commander of a ship, but he's pretty great at it, right? And
but he's not like he's not like a John Wayne. He's like a professional officer of a ship.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
No nonsense, to the point. Like I like Jonesy's making a joke and he just kind of like looks at him like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Captain."
Well, and I think you also see the playfulness. There's a casual on a ship like that. You have to be. I think I'm not a military person, but I'm guessing it's close quarters. You have to show reverence to hierarchy, but you're in close quarters. Chain of command. But you're in close quarters. You have to have some sense of humor going on. You go crazy, right? You're underwater for months at a time, or at sea months at a time. So when Jonesy goes off and starts yapping about all these sounds that he hears and Paggiani and opera, people are going to laugh at that.
Paganini and Pavarotti.
You're going to laugh at that stuff, and it's okay, right? And it's okay to do that. And even Bart Mancuso, his reactions to Jack Ryan coming on board, he's very serious about it. He can turn the dime to being very serious. Hey, this is real. This could be war here. We're doing something we've never done before. We're out of protocols. We're beyond protocols now. We're hooking up with this for a crazy ass idea. Hooking up with this Russian sub. This is nuts. What are we doing? Yet the way Scott Glenn plays it, it feels like
well, he's not a robot. He's thinking.
There's strategy going on in his head, and that's true of all of these people. They're all playing chess in their head.
Yeah, because remember it was the Russians sent the fake news to the U.S. saying that the guy's going to defect and launch warheads on the United States.
Yeah.
And that's like the official line going on.
Yep.
But it's just not. They're playing poker. They're playing poker. They're playing chess. The whole bit at the same time. 3-dimensional chess. It was like on what is that? What's that? Big Bang Theory. What was it playing?
I think that's right.
Well, everyone else is playing checkers.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And if you think about the coordination of this stuff, I mean, the North Sea is not a small place.
No.
That is hundreds, and that's like thousands of miles.
And it's deep.
Yep, very deep
and cold.
Yeah, actually, they just had the scene where they're taking Ryan out to the destroyer or to the aircraft carrier, and the guy's just telling him about
that's Rick Ducommun.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny. It's just so funny.
Hilarious.
Well, and you find out a little bit about Jack Ryan, that he was a Marine,
right?
And broke his back in a helicopter crash.
Yep.
So he's terrified to fly.
I'd have a little PTSD myself.
So then you go through the whole thing where, let me put you on a helicopter and take you to a really small spot to land. Good luck.
Dangerously, and then he just cuts the line himself and goes into the water and almost freezes to death, which is insanity. The name that I come back to a lot, it's a small part, is Fred Thompson,
right?
Who Senator
Senator Fred Thompson ran for president.
He's from what, Tennessee?
Was for Tennessee, yes.
Tennessee.
Yeah, and he's great. He was in a fair amount. He was on some TV show for quite a while too. Was it
Law and Order?
Law and Order.
He wasn't on Law and Order.
He played the Manhattan District Attorney after the first guy retired. So he was looking in charge.
He has that kind of cowboy-esque feel to him, but he's serious. I mean, hey, let's take a chance at this crazy idea from this Jack Ryan guy and that Larry Ferguson, chief of the ship or whatever his title is, doesn't want to believe him. And then Fred Thompson tells him, "Hey, did you see that ring on this guy's finger? He did duty. He was in a hospital bed for whatever.
Learn how to walk again. All that good stuff.
Yeah, and then of course the big crash of a jet onto the aircraft carrier, and Fred Thompson's line of what things are going to get. What does he say? Things are going to get worse before they get better. What is that line? He gets all mad at everybody.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to find it on the
interwebs.
No, on the movie. I'm just going to scroll ahead.
No, on the movie.
I'll find it. The Russian folks, the Russian guys. We can come back to. I was going to talk about Courtney Vance too. All the actors that play the Russians, the two different subs, they're really good. I feel, and I don't know many of them. I don't think they are so good at giving you that sense of tension, in their individual ships. You got this one ship is trying to really catch the other ship. You got this one ship with 8 or 9 guys who are trying to defect, and they probably really don't even know what that means, but they're following along Sean Connery. There is this great tension amongst them all. And you can see the fear in their eyes. They're not really sure what they're doing. And all of a sudden they're probably doing things that they've never had to do before. They're not, who shoots off, warheads on a, they don't do that in real life. They do that during war. And all of a sudden these guys are having to do this, and they're kids. It's really high drama on so many levels. What are you looking for, Ange? You looking for that?
No, I just got sucked into a little bit of a scene here.
Watching the movie?
This is Ryan talking to Fred Thompson on the ship. Telling him, "Hey, listen, you're tired. Go take a shower, get some coffee, get some rest, go get a shave." He's giving him the whole story about the ring, how he crashed and all that stuff. But yeah, it's so easy to get sucked in. It's just so good. It's just so damn good. And going back to Courtney B. Vance, he's just so good as Jonesy. You know, like he's got a sense of humor, but he's really serious. He really knows his stuff. You know, he's not just like sitting there like some robot listening to things. He's analyzing, trying to figure things out. You know, like what was the whole thing? It's like, let me get this straight, Jonesy. $5 billion computer tells you it's a seismic anomaly, and you're telling me it's wrong.
Yeah, you know better.
Well, I mean, it's just the fact that he recorded the thing, and then he's like, all right, look, this is at a normal speed. Let's try this 5 times speed. I mean, he's thinking, he's processing, you know, he's analyzing.
He's the nerd of the ship. Right?
Absolutely.
And Jack Ryan's the nerd of CIA.
Yep.
And they're nerdy in their own ways, and they're coming about answers to problems differently than the everyday soldiers coming about, right? Who are a little more black and white. These guys are looking at things a little bit differently, and you know they can be wrong too.
Right. Well, and you know it's probably the nature of the beast too with submarining, because you can't really see a lot. You're listening.
No, sound is everything.
Windows. It's all about, you know, it's sound and navigation and sonar and all that. You're kind of just going by your instruments and just have to kind of learn to interpret it. You know, it's a little different than being on the deck of a ship where you could see something coming in, or you can see something happening. So, I mean, I think you got to be. I would imagine that, you know, your submarine guys in the Navy are way different from the guys that are on the aircraft carriers and the destroyers. You know, different personality, different mindset. You know, they kind of got to be. Like you said, tight quarters.
Yep.
You know,
this business. Hold on a second. It's coming. The jet crashes on the aircraft carrier, and Fred Thompson says, "This business will get out of control. It'll get out of control, and we'll be lucky to live through it." And the way he says it is so powerful, and it gives you that. It heightens the drama even more. Okay, we've lost it. People are dying now, and there's also this other thing going on, and we don't even know what it really is about. And
that crash had nothing to do with anything that's going on with other stuff.
Nothing to do with it.
This was just a routine surveillance, whatever they're doing.
And but there's something else going on. And do you buy into this or not? Because as he said, things are getting tense in Washington. Things are getting tense on the ships.
Yep.
How do we not start losing people left and right?
And the thing is, they're not at war, right? This is all like peacetime missions.
No. This is all normal training stuff,
exercises,
as far as I know. Yes.
Right. So, but also going back to like the whole thing with the Paganini and Pavarotti. What's great is, you know, they're in the middle of the story, and then they get, you know, then they hear the sub, and then he gets like the sonar warning, and he's, you know, everything. The conversation stops, and it's back to business.
Yeah.
You know, the transition from just like in the middle of a story to, all right, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Yeah, hold the story.
We got to assess the situation here. I'm picking up something. I'll finish this later. You know, there's no like, it's business. You know, it's almost like, you know, like baseball, right? You know, there's a whole lot of nothing for baseball, but then something happens and you have to react.
Yeah.
You know, so it's, you know, muscle memory, all that kind of stuff. You got to just jump right in when something happens. And then I guess that goes back to the training, right?
That's right. There's another scene going back to what you said, Ange, about this being on a ship and the sound, right? And you have that one, not on the ship, but that one character who hears gunshots. Is that gunshots? Remember?
Yeah.
They hear the gunshots that are on the whatever the name of the rest of it is. Did you say gunshots? Yeah, I think I heard gunshots. Yeah. There's no cameras, there's no video. This is pre all that. This is the 1980s, and so your ears are your best friend in a lot of ways, right? And even Ryan crawling through the trying to get
the reactor or whatever it was,
the reactor part of the ship, the sub ship. It's all about hearing. Being quiet and hearing. And then ultimately coming upon the chef.
Who's not a chef.
He's not a chef.
He's not a chef.
Oh, it's so funny. Should we move on to our third whiskey?
Yeah, let's do that.
Did we
The
want
rum.
to talk? Hey, did anyone have any more to say about the cast? Because really, the cast is you could go through each of these guys and
Everybody's just so good.
I really like the Soviet ambassador.
He's great.
That's awesome.
He is really good.
He's just so
in the beginning as like a blustery guy who's accusing people of doing things, and then at the end when he's got to be like, could you
tail
help
between
us?
his legs,
and there you lost another sub.
Richard Gordon in that scene is so great.
As an
picking the candies out of his out of the little bowl.
Yep.
What's it? Sergey? Is it saying Sergey? His name is I think it's Sergey.
It's Andre.
Andre, you've lost another.
You've lost another.
Is John Sacklin? What is he? Is he? He's not English. What is he like?
I thought he was something else, but I'm looking now. I think he is English.
Is he?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I
thought he was South African.
British.
Well, 94. No, you know what it is?
Alive.
You think he's South African because of Lethal Weapon 2. Because he played a South African. Remember, he was the guy from the embassy? Diplomatic immunity. He was that guy.
He's also in another one, another movie. Is it White Mischief?
Oh, yeah. That also takes place in South Africa, right?
Where he's in South Africa.
Yeah. Is that the one with Greta Scacchi?
Yeah, Greta. Yeah.
Yeah, Greta
Scacchi. My! His. Granted, he's 94. He's been acting for a while. His first credit, well, it was actually uncredited, was in a movie called Landfall in 1949.
Landfall?
Midsummer's Night Dream in 1959. David Copperfield.
Rasputin. He's 94 years old.
He is. He's 94. Years old. He was in the Avengers TV series.
I could see that.
The Rivals of Sherlock Holmes, a TV movie. The Three Musketeers. He was D'Artagnan's father.
Wow. Speaking of wow.
And one of my favorite roles he was in, although I actually don't remember, he was in The Mighty Ducks.
The Mighty Ducks. Yeah, he was he's the guy who does the blade sharpening. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Oh my! He's been so much.
By the way, going back to the rums, the Blackpool total wine, $30.
Wow.
Oh, we didn't talk about that. That's $30.
Yeah, $30 for the Blackpool. That's pretty good.
That's amazing.
That's a bargain.
I like that. That's a bargain. I may be going tomorrow.
Should we do the big boy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go to the big.
I poured it off to let it breathe.
I
poured it off to let it breathe, and I think it's asphyxiating me.
So does that mean this is 75% alcohol?
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to. It's usually what the 151.
151, right?
My God.
Is that what you call overproof? Is that what that is?
Well, that's funny you said that because they said in their on the website that the Lemon Hart or the Blackpool was overproof. It's only 43%.
Right.
So if that's overproof, what is this? Angry proof?
Wow, and you want to read a little bit about the 151?
The legendary gold standard in overproof rums. This is the Lemon Hart and Sons Overproof 151. Called for by name in many of Trader Vic's and Don the Beachcomber's classic tiki drinks recipes. Lemonheart 151 is the legendary gold standard, sought after and coveted by rum enthusiasts worldwide. Many rum aficionados believe that there simply is no substitute for Lemonheart 151. Blended to exacting standards from an age-old recipe of select high-proof Demerara rums, Lemonheart 151 remains the epitome of an exceptional rum. Rum always. I'll tell you on the note, where'd Mikey go?
I believe. Where's Mikey go? He's there. He's
back. Hey, hello.
He's back.
Hello.
I had some intruders.
Intruders.
Were they hostiles? The children were at the Phillies game. And I thought for sure that I had several hours before the Phillies would somehow eke out a win. And I guess it was a quick one.
By the way, they win last night?
They won last night.
You got a loss or a win?
A win. 4-3. Come from behind.
Last night or today?
Last night they won outright, and then tonight they came from behind to win.
Oh, that's always
They
exciting.
scored 3 in the 8th to win the game.
Nice.
But I digress.
I believe the Costco's have a bottle of 151 of the 151 here in the cabinet. I believe on the Lemonheart, I guess it's Hart and Sons website on the 151.
This is really tough to nose.
There is no substitute for Lemonheart 151, and nothing comes close. Jeff Beachbum Berry, who is one of the more famous tiki cocktail people in the world.
Okay. So this was quite a coup for Impex then to get this.
It's a well-known brand in the rum world. I mean, this is, way up there, and especially in the tiki cocktail world, it's very well known. I don't think it'd be hard to go to a decent tiki bar and not find it on a list.
It's got a lot of heat, man. This is packed. This is a heater. It's a heater. But you get that nice smell though. You get the vanilla.
Yeah.
You get those spices again. You get all that stuff on the back end if you can get past the vapors. Without
the vapors don't bother me. Actually, I don't think they're that huge. I don't know that if I didn't know, I don't think this would be. I would think this is even an overproof rum on the nose. But of course, on that first taste, it's in your face.
Yeah,
but it's sweet. It kind of rounded out, balanced. This is maybe we're just screwed up with all the drinking in our life, but it's not. It's a drinker to me. I could sip this.
The problem I have with the nose is that the other two just smelled approachable, and this doesn't really smell like much of anything.
It doesn't. There's not a lot going on in the smell.
I think I get a lot, actually. I think
on the nose, I'm getting like solvent and bouillon cubes. It's basically like that.
Interesting.
No, I get the vanilla. You just gotta have to kind of approach like carefully.
It's not vanilla.
I think once you taste it and go back to nose it again, you get that back. Yeah. But without tasting it,
but it's not the same vanilla or the level of vanilla as in the spiced one.
Wow.
Okay, there, Mike. You're right. Don't fall over.
No, you just do drops. You got to do drops. I think it's drinkable. You just can't do. You really got to take it easy on this one.
Wow,
that's good though. That's really, really nice. And this again, price wise, not bad. The 151 here. Again, I'm just going by Total Wine is like the number one thing on here, so that's what came up on my Google search. $34.
So it's 24, 30, 34. Is that what you came up with?
Yeah,
that's not
bad. No, not at all. These days, no.
Not bad at all. That is an assault. That's good. What do you do with an overproof rum? Sip it? You can't make cocktails. You can't make cocktails with it, right?
Sure you can.
You can?
What do you just top it? Like you just do a little...
You float this in something?
You float it on top of like a Mai Tai or something?
Yeah. And I think over ice would be fine. You're going to it's going to dissipate. It's going to dilute it a bit. And this is going to be very different with water, over time. 1 second. I'm going to, I believe, yep, here it is. I'm pretty sure it is. There's a bunch of different cocktails. It's in so many cocktails in Tiki lists. It's kind of crazy.
But not as like the base for the cocktail. More like the extra little spice you kick in.
Yeah, I think there's a couple that it's actually the base, but you'll use it with another rum, right? You'll have let's see, a 151 Swizzle. Oh, this is adapted from Beach Bum Berries, which is Jeff Berry, the guy that quoted on the website. 151, 1.5 ounces, and lime juice, simple sugar, Pernod, bitters, crushed ice. That's all.
Wow, that's a lot.
151.
That's a lot. Yeah, 151.
Yep.
So you're bringing that cocktail down to like 60%?
Probably. That's it. What was it? Yeah, so you're talking 75%. Yeah, little water. Boom, you're down to what? 60%.
You're down to an overproof rum. Wait, that's where we started.
That is very good, though. That is really cool.
This is a website, cocktail website. It's about using this in cocktails. Interesting. It says that the sugar and spice flavors are powerful. Use it in moderation or as the base to prevent it from overwhelming other components or allowing it to shine. The profile is darker than some overproof rums like Plantation, OFTD. Don't expect fruity caramel notes. Dark sugar and burnt caramel are going to be the leads, which I think is probably true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think if you take a small sip for the first sip, just to get acclimated to the pain, I think after that, it's almost approachable. I'm not going to say it's very approachable. It's almost approachable.
Was it Bacardi 151 back in college? People would take it and light it on fire at parties, right?
Yep. That's good though, and I got to say though, I mean the prices on these things are very reasonable.
What's this one?
34.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's really good. That is really good, and a little goes a long way. I mean, you're not going to go through a lot of this.
No.
Unless you're an absolute crazy man. Although if your better half gets her wish and gets that tiki bar going, you might be going through a lot. It'll
be part of it, I'm sure. Yes.
Uh-huh. Nice.
Yeah.
So was this not available in the States before Impex took it over?
No, it's been in the States.
Oh, it has? Now they pick
maybe
up. They took over.
Maybe not all of it. I don't know about the Blackpool, but I'm sure the original and the 151 are. Like I said, I think we have a bottle of 151. I'm sure we have a bottle of 151 somewhere.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. That's very cool.
All right, so here we go. I'm going to give you
the end of the movie.
I'm not going to tell you about the end of the movie. I'm going to give you some lines.
Before you do that, though, going back to the casting.
Yep.
Mike, I know we've talked about this many times, but Alec Baldwin. First of all, I think he's a great Jack Ryan. After reading the books, he's the right age. Mm-hmm. He's got the right attitude. He's smart. The whole bit. He got greedy, right? Isn't that what happened? Like he wanted too much money.
They blame it on his ex-wife.
Which one?
What? Kim Basinger.
Kim Basinger? Okay.
Blame on Kim Basinger and said that she basically was telling him how much of a star he was.
Uh-huh.
That he then started to make all sorts of demands. Yeah. And they said, "Thank you and good day, sir."
Right. And then what do? They bring in like the box office king to take over his role.
Who was again very good in the role.
Yeah, my only complaint with him, I thought he was too old. I mean, you can't go wrong with Harrison Ford, but I thought he was too old for this.
And then they brought in Ben Affleck, and he was too young. Well, he's too young.
He was too Ben Affleck.
Well, whether you like Ben Affleck or not, the age wasn't right. He's not right enough to play.
Right.
And then the guy from, Friends, Office.
The Office.
The series.
Yeah. He's doing the TV show, right?
But Krasinski, while physically he might not look the role, he's probably about the right age to play the character.
Yeah.
So it's not so bad. And I've heard that show gets pretty good reviews.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it on my list. I want to watch it.
But what's his name,
Is
right?
it Prime?
Yeah. Isn't what's his name? Who's the guy that plays the guy that plays Bunk on The Wire?
Oh, he's in it too?
Yeah, he's in it. I can't. Oh, Wesley? No, Wendell Pierce.
Does he play Admiral Greer?
I think so. He might be Greer. Yeah, I
could see him having the weight, not necessarily physical, but the weight.
I know what you mean. The gravitas
to play a James Earl Jones character.
That's what we got, Mike. We got lots of gravitas.
No, I got gravity.
You got gravitas. Coming right out of your ears.
We got lots of gravity.
It's not gravitas.
Gravity. Inertia is not our friend.
No.
Solar radiation heats the Earth's crust. Warm air rises. Cool air descends. Turbulence. I don't like that.
Yeah, that was great. That was when he's first on the plane.
That's a good line. Yep.
It's just so good. And then she's just looking at him like, take a nap, buddy.
What the hell?
Just take a nap. Take a nap.
Yeah. These doors, sir, are the problem. I don't know what they are. Neither do the British. Perhaps our friends at Rums have come up with something new.
Uh-huh. Caterpillar Drive. So the Caterpillar Drive is essentially like a giant jet ski, right? It's like a jet engine for a what's it called?
It sucks in the water and gets it out, but quietly.
Right.
The doors baffle the engine, so you can't hear the engine on.
Uh-huh.
I will live in Montana. I will marry a round American woman and raise rabbits, and she will cook them for me. And I will have a pickup truck, maybe even a recreational vehicle, and drive from state to state. Do they let you do that? Oh, yes.
I believe they do.
No papers? No papers, state to state.
Well, perhaps I will have 2 wives.
In winter, I will live in Arizona. Actually, I think I'll need 2 wives. Oh, at least.
He was great. I really like Sam Neill, though. Sam Neill is tremendous.
At the end, I would have liked to see Montana.
Russian captain sometimes turns suddenly to see if anyone's behind them. We call it Crazy Ivan. The only thing you can do is go down, shut everything down, and make like a hole in the water. So what's the catch? The catch is a boat this big doesn't exactly stop on a dime. And if we're too close, we'll drift right into the back of him.
They're baffles. I like just the names for stuff is just great. The Crazy Island, all that stuff. What they call that? Every prop has its own sound signature, right?
Yes.
Well, you know, the propeller on the boat.
The word of the propellers. Yeah.
I just like that they had names for all of them. Oh, U.S. ship, Los Angeles class. This is funny.
And you slammed the door on the general pretty hard, Jack. That was not my intention, sir. Oh, yes, it was. He was patronizing you, and you stomped on him. And in my opinion, he deserved it.
And we think we're super sneaky, and the Russians know everything. And they think they're super sneaky, and we know everything.
That's right.
Like, none of you guys are sneaky.
The great
enough time in the water, we figure it all out.
Okay, when do you leave? Wait a minute. The general was right. I'm not a field personnel. I'm only an analyst. You're perfect. I can't ask any of these characters to go. 1, they don't believe it. 2, they never stake their reputation on hunch. Whereas you are expendable. Something like that. Oh, that's a good one.
It's just so good.
Here you go, Mike. So you don't like flying, huh? This is nothing. You should have been with us 5-6 months ago. Whoa, talk about puke. We ran into a hailstorm over the Sea of Japan. Everyone was retching his guts out. The pilot shot his lunch all over the windshield, and I barfed on the radio. Knocked it out completely. It wasn't that lightweight stuff either. It was that chunky industrial weight puke. Here, you want a bite?
By the way, like just and the way some of the lines are just said, Courtney B. Vance in particular, he doesn't say Crazy Ivan. Crazy Ivan.
Crazy Ivan.
He's got to go. He's got to have the Russian accent.
Oh, he's just funny. He's just so good in this. Now he's married to Angela Bassett, right?
Is he? Yeah,
I believe so.
A power couple.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking she's running the show though. I'm not messing with Angela Bassett. I like her. She's tough. What else you got?
Think he's crazy? You think he's crazy? Certifiable, and no matter what his credentials, I don't care. I don't care for him wearing the uniform. You see that ring on his finger? The Academy, class of 72, a Marine. You're kidding. How do you? Greer told me. Summer his 3rd year, and he and his squad went down in a chopper accident in the Med. Bad pilot, crew killed. Kids spent 10 months in traction, another year learned to walk. Did his 4th year from hospital. Now it's up to you, Charlie. But you can consider cutting the kid a little slack.
A little slack.
Russians are going to find that sub before we get it, anyhow. All back full.
Let's not
say again. I said all back full. Back full. Aye, sir. Engine's back full. Captain, we're cavitating. He can hear us. Con I. I'll stop. By. All right, Ryan. We just unzipped our flight. Mr. Thompson, open the outer doors. Firing point procedures. Now, if that bastard so much as twitches, I'm going to blow him right to Mars. I love that.
It's all good. It's all and the best part about it is there's no direct communication.
No.
At
It's
no
all through
point is there
interpreters.
direct communication.
No.
And then they go through the whole Morse code thing. I actually looked it up the other day, and they were kind of people were, of course, there are always going to be nitpicks, but they're talking about the Morse code. They're like, no way he could have got that off that fast.
Yeah.
Nope.
There's just no way. They had to speed it up for the. But then, do you really want to watch somebody doing like one message for like 3 minutes in Morse code?
No.
Now, apparently,
Especially.
it's an international language, though.
Yeah,
like
it is.
Yeah, but how's that work though? Like, how do you are there certain words you use and everybody can understand what they are just based upon the dots and the dashes?
Yeah, I think it's such a common language now, or have been for 100 years. That people know it. Those 3 dots mean whatever. Those 2 dots, a dash, and another dot, and that means help or whatever. Yeah, I think they're common. It's like Braille, right?
It's that whole bit. The American guy opens up his missile doors. The Russian fills the tubes, but doesn't open the doors, and they could hear all that. And I guess it's kind of like, okay, there's one in the chamber, but I haven't drawn my gun yet.
Still right. 315. Wait a minute. That's heading into the torpedo. Still right. Till this reads 315. No, that's wrong. Ryan, don't turn that goddamn wheel. 315. You're heading straight into that torpedo. Yes.
Yes. And then he tells him, he cut the distance so the torpedo couldn't arm.
Right.
Genius.
Torpedo impact, 20 seconds.
And then he realizes, wait, you know how long it takes for the torpedo to arm. Like the
torpedo impact, 5 seconds. Yeah. I'll be damned. What happened? Combat tactics, Mr. Ryan. By turning into the path of the torpedo, the captain closed the distance before it could arm itself. So that's it? Not quite. Right now, Tupolev is removing safety features on all his weapons. He won't make the same mistake twice. You arrogant ass! You've killed us! Oh, such a good movie.
It is. We got any more to say about this?
Well, I don't know.
No thoughts?
I love when Tupolev comes over with the Konolov to go and catch him, and they steer a torpedo at him, blow the ship up, and all of the crew of the Red October is in the rescue boats. Right. And they think that Ramius has scuttled the ship to keep going. He's a hero. They don't realize, this is perfect. They think the ship's gone. It's destroyed.
Right. It's a great ruse, right?
Yeah.
It's great.
So
all those are saved.
Yeah.
They filmed all this stuff in LA or around LA and in the Pacific?
The interiors are in LA, and then the water stuff is probably off San Pedro somewhere. And I also said Port Angeles up in Washington.
Wow. Oh, Washington State?
Yeah, Washington State. Yeah.
Okay, that would make
Port
sense.
Angeles is one of the bigger ports up there, and that's the gateway to Vancouver.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that would make sense because, in the beginning scene when they're leaving Polyarny and they're up top deck and you can see all the trees and stuff. That would make sense. It's probably the Puget Sound or whatever it is.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be cold. So you're up there because it probably is a little cold.
Right. Yeah, because I'm watching the one scene here where he's basically going from the helicopter to the Dallas, and they've got the electrical storm and the wind and the driving rain. That's just insane.
I can't imagine that life.
No.
Even on a good day. Forget bad weather days, but when those bad weather days come, forget it.
I guess that's the one good thing about being on the sub, right? You're kind of...
You could go down, you could go below it, but...
Yeah, right. It's almost like being in a plane where you can fly above the weather. Yes. Same thing. To a point. So did you ever see Das Boot, the German movie?
Yes. Yeah.
About the World War II submarine?
Mm-hmm.
That's really, really good. That's also well done.
Yeah.
That is also very, very well done. Now, on one of the podcasts we watched, they ask, do you think this would hold up as like let's say a 6 or 8 part Netflix or Prime show? I think it would. I think there's enough story.
I think yes,
and they could really get into the nitty gritty.
If you think about the
scope,
the dramatic part in the middle, which really the ending is very short, right? When they're rescued or being towed into Maine, it's pretty short. So that could definitely be expanded. I mean, and the buildup could be a whole episode by itself. Getting,
Right.
Researching this weird
and you
thing.
could backstory a little more of Jack Ryan, show the helicopter
where he
crash,
come
show
from,
him
and
Annapolis and everything,
and
show his
backstory,
relationship with Greer.
And backstory Greer, backstory Ramius, and Scott Glenn's character, all these guys. You could definitely go backwards a bit, as most series nowadays do. Half the series is all backstory,
Right.
And I think it would work. I think you're right. I think it would work.
Well, again, I've only read maybe like 4 or 5 of his books, and they were all the early ones. So I think I read this, The Sum of All Fears, which I think is not a Jack Ryan book. Patriot Games, Without Remorse, and a couple others. But his stories are long. There's a lot of detail, but I think it's all relevant, and you kind of need it for the kind of story he's trying to tell. Because he's not telling some yarn. I think his stuff is largely feels like it's based in realism.
Yeah.
So he's not just like making things up with these leaps of faith in the other books. No. This is all, been researched, and it's really, really good.
Is the John Krasinski one based on a specific book?
I have no idea. I really don't. I haven't watched any of it. So
the series?
Maybe they just based the character and just created a whole new series based on it.
Maybe not based on the character, not based on a book.
Right. There was one book. Go ahead.
No. I was going to say Tim Curry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That still blows my mind. It's Tim Curry.
It's wacky.
It's really wacky.
But what I really think they would have. Did you ever read Sum of All Fears, Mike?
Yeah.
I think was that the one that was almost like a global war. I think that was the one that kind of just became like everything was on the brink of war. All these books are on the brink of war in one way or another. But that would have probably been, I think, a really, really good series. Probably really expensive to make. I forget what it was about, but I remember it being a really, really long book.
It's the Middle East peace process and Palestinians, East German terrorists.
Okay.
The huge.
That was good. That was a really, really good book.
That's the one with Ben Affleck.
Oh, did they make a movie out of it?
Yeah, that's the one with Ben Affleck.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that one.
I didn't notice it. We actually had a comment, by the way. Did you guys see that the Malt Muser was here an hour ago? We totally ignored his comment.
No, I missed it.
Yeah, he said hi, and we were talking Hunt for Red October. Yes, if you're still there, we are. Oh, too bad.
The one book that I really liked was The Bear and the Dragon.
Oh, never.
Oh, yeah, you told me about that one. Yeah,
where it's about Russia and China and them getting together. All these things happening, and China's the bad guy now. We've migrated over since I guess the wall fell, so now they're not so bad anymore. And I think that would be a very good movie too.
I think because someone like Leonard Elmore, because there's so much detail in their books, Clancy as well. They lend themselves for being longer form for TV or movie.
Yeah.
I think there's so much that doesn't get in to a 2-hour movie that just gets edited out. You could bring a lot of that back, and plus backstory that you have to make it up. I agree. Well, this was fun, guys. One of our most quotable movies, I think. I know.
One ping
only. Our next podcast, our next one's going to be called One Ping Only. We should just call it One Ping Only. One Ping Only. Part of the Booze Dancing Network. I don't believe that's been licensed. I think we can just use One Ping Only. I kind of remember getting my wife a T-shirt that said One Ping Only. I think. Anyway, this was fun. What a great classic movie.
By the way, if we get the right sort, this plan will work. But if we find some Bacardi. What's his name is great. By the way, just one last thing. The whole scene where he's talking to his men, when he tells them that he sent a letter to the Kremlin, and everybody's just like, you did what? We could have just no, you had to make a political statement, didn't you? You couldn't just disappear into the night. No, not you. You got to get the whole Russian Navy after us now. You silly man. You have signed our death warrants.
And
great.
Forgetting the book for a minute, is the character development there is what is Ramius's modus operandi there? Does he want to prove that this is really a special ship? Does he want to get in this chase? Because he could have made it simpler. He could have made it a little quieter, but he chose not to, and that's a whole different way the movie could have gone too.
Oh, Mike, by the way, I was wrong. It wasn't Sum of All Fears I was thinking of. It's Red Storm Rising. That's a non-Jack Ryan book.
Non-Jack Ryan, yeah.
Yeah, that was really good. That was a really, really good book. Big, huge, sprawling, brink of war, all that good stuff.
Brink of war.
300 yards.
Well, it's a good movie and great rum.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Thank you again to Impex, our friends Chris Udi and Sam Filmus for sending these along.
Sure.
They are really good rums, really high value, I think. I think there's a lot of this. This is this is a really high value quotient here.
Totally. Yeah.
Big flavor,
Your money's
small price.
Yep.
Absolutely.
In the world of everything is overpriced in spirits now.
No,
way
this
overpriced.
Is reasonable.
This is highly well priced. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'm guessing. Well, and you see it. Like I said, it's in a lot of bars, and I'm guessing price is part of that. You got a good spirit, great for cocktails, and it's priced right. I'm guessing the wholesale price for on premise is going to be, half of it. Well, I don't know what cost would be on it, but it's going to be easy. You can get a lot of drinks out of a bottle, right?
Yeah, I think so.
A lot of good tiki drinks.
Yep.
This was fun, boys. One show, one drink. Booze Dancing Network. We were live tonight, but don't worry, we'll be on your podcast stream before you know it, because we are the most efficient at getting these things to podcast, right?
No, not this time.
That's not
I'll
true.
be away for a week, so this will be a couple weeks.
Oh, right. Okay. It'll be here before you know it.
Yeah.
It will.
Mark your calendars.
Right around
Don't
the
mark
corner.
your calendars.
Well, gents, shall I roll the end credits?
Let's play us out.
All right, I'm going to roll the end credits. Gentlemen, cheers.
Ready to lift
Pleasure.
off. Cheers.